G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game spawning in on the west side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. It's Give You Anxiety, and on the east side of the map in the colour teal, very very close to blue, this is going to be a tough game, we have got Sort Of, also known as, I'm pretty sure that's Soup Dumplings. So he is a bit of a dumpling enjoyer. I definitely feel the same way. I don't know about you guys, but I've got a Chinese restaurant really close to my place. I've actually got quite a lot. We've got a huge Chinese Australian community, and I tell you what, I fell in love with their soup dumpling recently. So it's like it's a pan-fried, I guess you probably wouldn't call it a dumpling. It's more of like a pork bun or a bun. But yeah, it's got like the soup inside, and I tell you what, the first bite that I had with that, I learnt the hard way. You don't want to be biting like into it because all the soup went onto my face. So I don't know what the trick is. I think you got to like pierce it with a chopstick first. Anyway, that's welcome. This is Age of Empires 4. I will have you guys know it is Age of Empires 4. Now we got a bit of an interesting matchup, a matchup that we've seen quite a bit lately. Abbasid Dynasty versus the Holy Roman Empire. Now, I will also just let you guys know, if you want to catch these characters over on Twitch, both of them do stream live over on Twitch, Give You Anxiety and Sort Of. Now, Sort Of's only just started streaming again. For anybody who doesn't know Sort Of, he actually took part in Red Bull Walla LOL. Finished pretty well as well. I think top 8 maybe for him. Pretty good finish. So very, very good player. Currently ranked 5 on the ladder. So very, very good. GUA, obviously, you guys will be familiar. We cast millions of GUA games. You could pretty much call this the GUA casting channel at this point in the career, because I reckon we've probably casted close to 100 GUA games. So of course we'll leave the link to GUA's page. But anyway, yeah, let's talk a little bit about this matchup. A bit of an interesting matchup, this one. It's always going to be fought around the relics. You know, you've got to be denying the Holy Roman Empire their relics. That's a big thing. So in this position, Sort of wants to make sure that he is catching GUA unawares, whether that's with his tempo on picking up the relics or whether that's just denying the relics out. There's a couple different approaches that you can go for. Number one is that you can always look to wall in the relics. The way I like to do it is I like to have like one central relic that I focus on, that I rally my units to. So in this situation, you know, playing as the Abbasid Dynasty, he might look for a bit of a feudal age play and then come in and put some pressure on this specific relic, and at the same time look to wall out the other relics. But then he needs to focus on getting up to the castle age himself. So I'm curious what type of... Hello, we got a culture wing coming in. Okay, this explains things a little bit. So I've seen this before. If it's culture wing, it's highly likely that it's going to just be a direct fast castle. So he's not going to mess around. He's not going to be putting down town centers, at least early on. Now, one of the things I have seen thrown around, or at least talked about, is culture wing into economic wing. And the idea is that you go culture wing, get that quick age up in, deny the relics, and at the same time, you just leave like 4 or 5 vills on stone, and you just add in town centers as you go. And basically, you can build up to like 4 or 5 TCs, and at the same time, you're scaling into the late game, but you've denied relics away from the Holy Roman Empire play, because that's the big thing. That's what we're looking to do here. Now, interestingly, GUA is actually going to be going for a second town center. Now, this is something that, obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, GUA is like top 30 at the moment, right? And compare that to me, it's like, I'm unranked at the moment. I think when it comes to peak in Age of Empires 4, I think I've peaked at like rank 60 or something like that. But other than that, like, so just keeping that in mind, okay? I don't like this. I don't like the second TC. From a theory perspective, it doesn't really make sense to me, especially in this matchup. This is a matchup where you want to be getting Imperial as fast as you possibly can, and you want to make sure that you're picking up as many relics as you can. So second TC to me, it makes sense in that you're matching the Abbasid player with their TCs, because undoubtedly we're going to see TCs coming from the Abbasid player, so you're matching them. But the thing is, you can already match them with the Swabia. So as long as you get your Swabia down quickly and you don't die, that's a key factor, don't die. So my fear is that you're just delaying yourself. That's essentially it. But we'll have to see how GUA plays it out. When it comes to second TC location, the gold's pretty safe on the back, so I'd expect him to look to wall that in. Probably going to be looking up here. Oh God. Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, there's going to be no question as to where this second TC location is. This is what could be called the God tier second TC location. There is so much food over here. The boar and the deer together. This is a great little spot. The only thing is, this is a bit of a hard to wall spawn that he's got. So I'd be walling on this south side. I'd probably look to be walling across here as well, just because you're playing Holy Roman Empire. You want to stop those horsemen from coming through and inevitably those knights from coming through. And so I would expect that he looks to take that spot. But obviously on Lipany, it's a map that sometimes can be a bit easier to wall. And yeah, there we do. Oh no. Is he got... Oh my Lord. This is actually the juiciest town center spot I think I've ever seen. This is double hunt boar. That's actually crazy. And for the Holy Roman Empire, right? Like you just bring 2 prelates out here. You've got enough. This is far. We're talking 12. You're talking 12-minute imp with the town center. See, this is the part that gets me. It's like, oh, does he pull the boar? Oh, does he pull the boar right now? He could pull the boar. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, he's got the bow out. He's got a... GUA's in trouble. We got trouble in paradise. Is he going to get the cancel? He might force a cancel here if that board... This does... Oh, gee. Oh, he gets the reset. Oh, he's so lucky. Oh, he's so lucky that reset. That boar went around this way. If that boar came up on the top side, this would be a town center that would be getting cancelled. And now sort of going to be looking to pull back that boar a second time. Going to be hitting these bottom side vills. So ideally what you just do is look to run outside the radius. No, the boar's going to be running around. Boar onto the villagers. GUA, get your vills out of there. GUA not paying attention. Second vill's going to be running the boar, just luring itself onto each villager. He's going to need to keep pulling vills. Don't lose it, GUA. Keeps all the vills alive. Really decent job here by sort of to just push these away. And GUA does lose a villager to the boar. Boar does go down. And now Townsend are going to be looking to fire down upon that boar. You can see the boar just unleashing havoc upon this position. Needs to pop all the vills out, bring them over here. The scout might even be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, geez, and behind this is the question as to what has been going on. Scout will probably go down. One more shot. Oh, he lives. They all live, except for that one vill, but we're not gonna worry about that villager. So GUA with the TC, I mean, a beautiful spot. It looked like a beautiful spot. Now, the one thing to note is that this doesn't actually affect the Holy Roman Empire that much, right? Because they've got increased carrier capacity. Remember that, extra 40 resources. So when you're already carrying 25 food as the base, 40% on top of that, that's up to 40. Throw in the prelate, and it's like, these guys are fine, right? Like, this is not a big deal. Obviously, it does hurt. You'd want it right next to the town center, and he's going to throw down a mill, which is definitely the right call, but still. And now over on the other side of the map, though, let's worry about that, because this is where the action is. Now, this is essentially where I thought we would go. So it is going to be a fast castle coming in behind this, and we can see sort of at the moment with the economic wing. So indicating that it's probably going to be a slow transition into town centers, and I like this a lot. This is, I genuinely think this is where Abbasid play will go, especially in this matchup. This is definitely the way to be playing this matchup, going straight into the castle age. I don't think a lot of people really expect Abbasid to go fast castle, and look at the upgrades starting to come through. Now, keep in mind with the culture wing, you've got access to really great technologies, most importantly, preservation of knowledge, which has obviously been picked up, but that's going to reduce the cost of your techs down. We can see it right here. This tech has had 20% reduction off everything. That also includes your age ups, and that's part of the reason why we see culture wing into eco wing. Just makes a lot of sense. You get that age up a little bit sooner. Horsemen going to be coming out for GUA. Will be met here with just some villagers heading back. Now they've got sheep that they will be able to fall back to. Not many sheep, only 3, but it should be enough just to keep him alive until there's a couple of units out. And we do see Camel Archers going to be coming out. Once the age up comes through, I suspect he's probably going to be moving into Knights. Probably going to avoid Camel Riders. I don't think... We might see a couple Camel Riders, actually. But yeah, Camel Archers and Knights probably going to be the way that he looks to play this. From GUA's perspective, though, the age up's going to be coming through shortly, and we can see right now he's got plenty of vills in queue, stacking up lots of resources. We'll actually switch it over to income because it is a bit of a passive game. Look at that food. Look at that food. You know, we talked about this as a prospect, right? Going fast imp. This is going to be the game for sure. My only hope for GUA is that he looks to try and get out on these relics a little bit sooner than what he normally would. So right now is like the perfect opportunity. This is where I always advocate for like having a few extra villagers on gold just so that you can afford to get those prelates out, because right now is when I want to be making prelates. I want like one prelate. And you take a look. You got one relic up here, prelate on the way, second relic down here. Prelate should be, just get it out of the Archon. Like, look at this, right? What is your prelate doing in this Archon? Like, yeah, oh, I needed the prelate in my Archon. Bro, it's buffing 3 vills. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Get it out there. Get it moving. The only problem would be if you did get it out there, if you did get it moving, the Camel Archer is out here. And it's likely that if he does look to pick up this relic, the Camel Archer will be there to deny it. By the same token, we do now see that the mosque has been added in. We've got an Imam in queue, or an Imam in queue. And the first of the knights are out. So this is the consequence of going for that second TC, right? Like, we're aging up here at 9 minutes 30 when we could be aging up at 7 minutes 30. And the cost of aging up is not like, oh, well, it's just the town center. No, it's not just the town center. It's 2 minutes delay on picking up relics. And 2 minutes delay on picking up relics, guess what that means? That means that now your enemy is going to be able to contest your relics. And if you start losing out relics, then you're going to start losing this game, because ideally in this situation, you want to make sure that you've got at least 4 relics on a good day, 3 3 on like a mediocre day, and 2 is just like, GG, that's it, I'm done. Because you're going Regnets, right? Like, this is the big focus of your game plan. I'd be tempted for GUA, just drop this relic down and move this prelate out towards the edge of the map, get him up here, and look to try and snag this relic away if possible. We do see an Imam moving out across the map. He's going to be able to pick up the relic, but the Lancer should be able to get the kill here. Even if he walla lols, it's not going to matter. The charge comes in, hits a point blank. It's not going to change it. Oh, jeez. It gets close, though, doesn't it? It really gets close. So there's the first relic getting denied. So this one could have been picked up earlier. I'm pretty confident that GUA could have picked this up had he been in the position to do it. And we've seen Outpost going to come down now. So we're going to be looking to put a Springwood placement in there, and look at the resources he's got in the bank. So he's almost well and truly on the way to imp. But my fear is that GUA might die. This is where it gets really hard, right? Because the Abbasid, they're going into second TC, third TC, fourth TC, but remember the barrier to entry on those town centers is so low because of the economic wing. You're able to just throw those down without really caring too much about it, and you can still focus on making units. Let's ride on board now with sort of and see what kind of units we've got out on this map, because we can see he's got a knight coming in on the bottom side, Camel up towards the top, second Camel. In fact, he's not even camping this relic, so GUA could have snagged that away. Remember, we talked about just dropping the relic down under the TC and moving out with the prelate to go pick up this additional relic. That would have been successful. He's probably picked that up right now, because I suspect you're going to have an Imam on the way, making his way towards that relic, and that's exactly what we see. So remember, you've got one safe relic in the back of your base, so that's going to be 2 relics, 3 relics. This is not a good game for GUA. GUA is going to be in trouble this game if he does not get his move on towards this northern relic. And that's something that scares me. And of course, he's going Swabia, and Swabia, it looks amazing. You know, having the Swabia out, that's great. 11 minutes 30, this is a beautiful time. But at what cost? That's the question. At what cost? Like, sure, yeah, you've got the Swabia, great work. But you've lost the relics. That's the part that gets me. All right, let's ride on board. Let's focus a little bit on sort of and see how he's doing. We've got town center number 2 being added in, town center number 3 already in, so I guess we could flip these and call them town center number 2's already in, town center number 3 on the way. This is it, and you can see that he's only got 3 vills. It's only 3 villages on the stone, yet still he's able to throw down these TCs like nothing. And that's what I love about this build order. I'm confident that you could probably play this Abbasid build order in a lot more matchups than just the Holy Roman Empire. It looks like the Knight's going to go down there. Unfortunate timing. And we do hear that relic picked up on the north side. So it's going to be 3 relics for sort of against the 2 of GUA. And now we see GUA did pull ahead on that villager count. But remember, you were going to pull ahead on that villager count anyway because of the Swabia. And once the Swabia comes up, you don't really want to be making villagers from your town centers. The main reason being that your Palace of Swabia villages are cheaper. Not only do they produce faster, they are cheaper. So you're paying less resources for each of your villages, so that you're getting a much greater return, a much quicker return. You can see right here, a villager is 17 resources compared to the 50 that you pay from a normal town center. So there's not really a big incentive to be going 2 TC as the Holy Roman Empire, unless, oh, nice little Wololol in here. This is a good little Wololol, actually. So there's not really an incentive to be going for that second town center unless you're planning on playing an extended feudal age. Then I can definitely get behind the idea of a second TC. Otherwise, I would have just said, throw down a mill, throw down an outpost, call it a day. That's plenty of food, and it's going to go your way. That would have been more than enough to protect it, but we do see GUA falling into that trap. You know, there's no spears here, nothing to defend this attack that's coming through. We do see it's going to be Camel Archers together with the Lancers, a crossbow getting thrown in for good measure. We're right on board now with sort of. We can see that he's got sacred sites in the middle of the map looking to get captured as well. So there is a potential sacred victory on the card if he gets all of these guys on board. And sort of's micromanagement, his multitasking at the moment is just absolutely next level. This is beautiful stuff to watch. The fact he's controlling units on the stone, controlling units under the town center, capturing sacred sites, moving units across the map. Take a look at this, and I'm sure he's doing stuff back in his base. Indeed he is. He's adding in a 4th town center. We are now seeing a 4th TC come through. Now, this is a bit of a trap that I would say some Abbasid players might fall into, and I hope sort of doesn't. I suspect he won't, because he's obviously a really, really good player. Some Abbasid players would look to keep adding town centers at this point, going up to 5, 6, 7 town centers. Don't do that. What you really need to do now is focus on your farm transition and focus on getting up keeps. Keeps are going to be really important for you, just to guarantee that you're able to make it through to the late game. So hopefully sort of sees these resources in the bank and says, oh, you know what, I'm not going to put another town center down, because 4 town centers is more than enough, right? Like, if we look at the vill count, sort of's done a pretty decent job of keeping the villages down of GUA. GUA's trying his best just to hold it together on the other side of the map. And you can see that Swabia is producing villages like no tomorrow. He's not actually, or he is producing villages out of the main TC, so I'd almost be tempted to call that a mistake from GUA, because you've got, you know, 5 town centers worth of production going on for your villages right now and absolutely no units. Like, he's got 2 knights in queue, but, you know, realistically, what a knight's going to be doing when you've got camels, when you've got crossbows out here, and at the end of the day, you've just got an enemy who doesn't want to fight you, they just want to kill your villages. So a knight isn't going to do that much against an enemy knight. So we do see the wall come up on the south side. Very well played by GUA. We need another wall coming in from here. He's got absolutely no resources in the bank, though. The consequence of just playing this hyper greedy style is that he gets caught out on so many different fronts. He's lost the relic war, and now he's losing villages. Up to 15 worker kills. We're right on board with sort of once again as those resources start stacking up. Has he added in any more TCs? It doesn't look like it. Only the 4 TCs. He's played this really well. Good job on sort of for not going any more than that. We start to see outposts coming in across the map and expect to see him capture. He's actually picking up all 3 sacred sites. We can see the south one has been taken, the central one has been taken, and of course, we've got the north one. So now in sort of's position, what does he want to do? He wants to control the narrative. So what that means is walling off the other sacred sites, making sure you're focusing on just a single sacred site. That's going to be the key. You want to direct your enemy to attack one sacred site. You want to keep your army there. So in this position, for sort of, he could throw a keep down here, and what he could look to do is wall off this top side. So you throw a stone down, stone wall here, stone wall across the front of this sacred site. The problem that you've got is it's so close to the enemy TC that this is almost certainly going to be the sacred site that GUA looks to challenge. So the best bet for sort of is just to go for like some sort of counter wall, like maybe a wall across here, a wall across here, something like that, and then like a wall up in here. Just try and fill in all these little gaps. You can see that there's so many little gaps right here, right here. Fill in all those gaps, and oh, GUA, just so much trouble, GUA. He's really suffering right now, and he's managing to keep up with the Vil count. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing, right? Like, GUA, it doesn't look good for him if we were to play that perspective. And look at this, bringing the relic out to have another defensive wall just to defend against this single Lancer. Really nice job of buying himself a bit more time. And that key, look at the range on that outpost. My lord, that is ludicrous. So at this point, GUA, even though he's lost a lot of Vils, he's up to 23 villager kills or worker losses. He's still making workers from both TCs, or from his Swabia mainly, but we do see them occasionally coming out. The big thing is, for me, he needs to go into spears. He needs to go into mass spears at this point. Mass spears are so strong here. They can overwhelm the enemy. They do well against crossbows. They do well against knights. And we're right on board now with sort of as he looks to once again attack upon GUA. That relic inside the outpost, going to be laying down the law here. Look at a beautiful micro from sort of. Splits off the Lancer that was getting focused down by the relic outpost and make sure that no AoE damage gets hit on that position. So all 3 sacred sites have been taken. And the first of the keeps is already down. Look at that. That's how quick he is. So he's on the ball. Do we see the farm? There's the farm transition. Oh, I tell you what, man. Sort of is playing the perfect Abbasid game right now. I mean, we gotta talk about this Abbasid strategy. This Abbasid strategy is legit. This is impressive, right? Like, the way that he's played into it. Of course, GUA's made his fair share of mistakes at this point, and GUA just going to commit to killing down this battering ram. He really wants to make sure this outpost does not go down, and it makes a lot of sense, but he loses the relic as well. Keep in mind, with this relic up on the front side, he's not going to be generating those resources that he should be. In fact, does he have... I don't think he's got Tithe Barns just yet. No, he does have Tithe Barns. My mistake. So he has picked up Tithe Barns. For some reason, it's not displaying on the UI. Where are the other relics? I guess he's got one up here. Yeah, there we go. So you can see he's picking up stone, wood, food, and of course the gold from the Regnitz Cathedral. So at this point, though, I mean, sort of's just played this absolutely immaculately. Like, a lot of people would be looking at this and thinking, well, he needs to get Imp to fight against the Imperial units of GUA. No, he doesn't. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. He can spend all day here. And look at the villager counts, really starting to build up now. 101 up against 89. This is the reason why you don't need to go into more TCs, because the value that you get from those additional TCs is significantly reduced, right? Like, the difference between 2 TCs and 3, that's huge. Difference between 5 and 6, that's not a lot. So don't bother. Wololo comes in, able to hold on, only loses the 1 Vil on the front, and now we see elite men-at-arms coming through. Have these guys picked up their heavy maces? They have indeed picked up their heavy maces, but there are crossbows out on the field. So expect to see maybe a bit of a horseman switch could also help out for GUA. We do see Landsconnect in the queue. So I'm just going to say that in my German accent. Landsconnect in the queue. Sorry. I don't even know if that was close. It sounded pretty good to me. Who am I modeling that off? I guess I'm probably modeling that off like some of the Red Bull production guys. I spent a lot of time with the Red Bull production guys when I was in Germany, as well, like when I was in Germany for Red Bull Wololo, and also when I did N4C with Nilly. I spent a lot of time with those guys, and I love their accents, man. The German accent's so nice. I don't mean to offend any of my Europeans out there, but some of the accents can be quite bland. Like Don Artie's accent from the Netherlands. Sorry, Don. Sorry. It's very, like, maybe monotone is probably the right thing. Like, you watch Cyril, the StarCraft 2 player, and he's very much, like, robotic, and I guess it's, like, maybe a Finnish thing, but then I think of, like, Swedes, and I think Swedes are the same, like, even sort of. He has got that same kind of monotone voice to him. Whereas, like, most of the Germans maybe it's a German thing, I don't know. They seem a little bit more, like, up and down with their voice. Am I just generalizing an entire 500 million people right now? I'm sorry to all my European friends out there. All right, well, let's get back into it, because we've got sort of in the full swing of things right now. Farm transitions coming through. Now, remember, Abbasid farms, some of the best farms in the game. There's a couple of reasons why Abbasid farms are so good, but the big one, the highlight for me, is the fact that in your economic wing, you've got the ability to reduce the cost down of all your economic buildings. And that doesn't just include your town centers, it doesn't just include your houses or your lumber camps, it also includes your mills and your farms. 56 wood a farm. Now, you're not paying the same price that the English pay for the farm, so obviously it's not as good of a transition as we see some men-at-arms getting caught out of position, but it's still pretty good. Villager count rising steadily for both players. Now, at this point, you see sort of up by about 20 vills here. This isn't a big deal, right? Like, it's not huge, but the reason why it hurts is because GUA should be ahead by a mile, right? Like, he had Swabia. To be honest, the one part that still gets me is just, like, GUA getting the TC. And I think not really having a solid defense. Like, there was a combination of not walling, but also not having a solid spear defense. But he's got some pretty good farmland coming down now, up to 1,200 food a minute coming through. Let's take a look at the upgrades that he's got. Let's see if we can find, there's a mill for you. So no fertilization through just yet. And I can't help but feel this is a consequence of the lack of relics. And we finally see that wall coming through for GUA. Can't help but feel a little bit too late. I'm not going to go ahead and quote 2006 hit single from JoJo, but it definitely feels like it's this could have been helpful a lot earlier. There were just relentless raids coming through. Age up now coming through for sort of military wing, going to be his choice here as he reaches the Imperial Age. Keep in mind, he's always got access to that trade wing for trade. The trade post in this game has not spawned the best way. And now we actually see the stone wall coming in. So remember earlier we spoke about segmenting the map and controlling the narrative. You want to try and force where your enemy is going to attack. You don't want them to attack down here on the sacred site if your army is all up on this north sacred site defending that. So you want to try and control where your enemy is going to attack, and you do that by putting these stone walls down. So the bigger, stronger walls you can put down, the more rigorous of an attack your enemy has to do, the less likely they're going to attack it. So that's a really smart move there by sort of. And 30 seconds out from his age up, he looks to once again put pressure on the side of GUA. It's definitely starting to feel a little bit one-sided as GUA, despite only being behind 26 villages, is behind 800, 900 points here. Definitely going to be spiking up a bit more once Imperial Age comes through as well. And a good solid defense. But once again, we need to see those walls coming through. Remember, men-at-arms, spearmen, they can only run so far compared to the knights. And, well, Lancers now going to get caught out of position. Look at this. We've got the elite upgrade coming through. Not just yet. Expect to see it through shortly. I'm curious what elite upgrades he goes through onto for these Lancers. Or for rather his units. Does he go into elite crossbows? I feel like elite crossbows would be the best play. Let's have a look and see what we've got. We've got elite... Oh, there we go. We've got elite camel riders. He goes into camel rider barding. We see boiling oil coming through. We've got greased axles. We've got lots of upgrades coming in. And, of course, we've got improved processing. 3 minutes already to sacred defeat. My lord, that was quick. GUA now pushing out. We've got plenty of spears here. These guys have only got their veterans, so we need to see the elite upgrade coming through for these GUA. Please, quickly, get that upgrade. Where is it? I need to see how much it is. Is it 350 or 700? It's 700, so it's a bit more expensive. But you definitely want to be looking for this upgrade. And look at GUA just running spears under the keep. Why, GUA? He's got boiling oil. GUA, you got to remember that when you're defending your units here, you want to make sure that with your spears, you never run them away from your VIPs. These are the VIPs here. We need to protect them, and he does a good job in coming back. It's just got to be careful not to bait them too far away. Manages to take down the keep. Needs to bring up his own villages and look to drop down an outpost or a keep if he can afford it. In this position, wants to try and secure a foothold on this position, because once again, we see those knights going to be coming in and going to be able to clean out. If he loses these battering rams, this is terrible for him. Manages to take out the one battering ram. Does a great job. And we do see a keep going to get thrown down. A lot of vills here for GUA. And GUA just walking straight past all the ranged units of his enemies. Like, excuse me, guys. Sorry, we've got a keep to build. We've been instructed to build the keep. We need to build the keep, sir. Don't mind me. Second minute now coming through. We've got 120 seconds before GUA has got a... He's going to have to tap out and go for the next one. That's when you've got 120 seconds left. So GUA doing a decent job to clean up. How many vills have we got back here? Looks about 10 vills still here. Rallying units towards the front. A couple battering rams also going to be looking to join the party. A second keep going to get thrown down here from Sort of. He wants to make sure he keeps his sacred site. No units on the sacred site just yet. I'd love to see GUA even just moving a single unit over here to start off with. Bombard on the backside now going to start firing off. It's looking like it's starting to peter out for GUA, but the keep looks like it might get up here. And indeed it does. Culverins coming through, looking to support from the east side. Morville's going to be moving out. Does he have more resources for another keep? Remember, he could have emergency repairs. No, doesn't have the connection just through for emergency repairs yet. The battering ram gets on the sacred site, but that's not going to do it. You need a real unit on there. Bombard looking to work its magic on this keep, but the Culverin are moving through. GUA, does he see it? Does he see it? He doesn't see the Culverins. GUA, surely he would have realized. Mangonel going to get one shot as well, and the Culverin's just rolling on in. Ville's going to try and repair. It's not going to be enough, and the Bombard goes down, and we hear 1 minute remaining on that sacred victory. GUA, go for it right now. Pull everything. Pull all the Vills. Pull the kitchen sink. We need to attend the sacred site, but there's so many units coming through from Sort of non-stop streams of units coming through. Spears, and a Culverin coming in, just every single unit. And it looks like GUA's got nothing here, unless there's a million villagers coming in right now from the left side of your screen. You can surely expect that GUA walks away from this map with his tail in between his legs, and there's a little bit of a stream of units, but there's such a solid mass right now coming out from his opponent, and GUA not looking to hold the sacred site. He's got the Vills. He could look to move onto the sacred site, but remember, it's going to keep ticking if there's enemy knights on, or if there's enemy units on there. And now GUA going to be looking to burn down the Culverin. Culverin going to be trying its best. It looks like it's already targeted onto the Mangonel, and it goes down immediately. And now GUA with 8 seconds left to go. It looks like that's going to be it, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, MBs, everybody out there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this casted game. If you're interested in some coaching, make sure you check it out on Patreon. If you're interested in seeing more content from these two guys, check them out. I'll leave links in the description to where you can catch them live. They're absolute beasts. Some of the best players in the game right here. So go say good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.